Good afternoon, everyone. Audible? Okay. So let us begin with social facts. By the way, how many of you are appearing for 21? 2021. Shivam, Arun. Okay, Vijay, Srishti, Rajshri. All those who are appearing for 2021, division of labor is a short question this year. Short question. Okay. So read it thoroughly. Notes will be given to you by evening today. Okay. Division of labor आएगा. Can anyone tell me in one line, what did we learn from division of labor? In one line. Division of labor brings solidarity. Right? Division of labor is, if I say, indicator of health of society. Right or wrong? When you have normal division of labor, society is healthy. When you have abnormal, society is pathological or anomy. Simple. Okay. Nice. Social fact. We have defined it already. Let us again define collective thinking, belief, acting, external to and coercive of the actors. Okay. The question is, why Durkheim is studying social fact? Why should we study social fact? Why social fact is a part of our syllabus? Why it is so important to study this thing? Durkheim has described social fact in his book Rules of Sociological Method. Why did he study social fact? If you remember, division of labor is a PhD thesis. of Emile Durkheim. PhD thesis when he was a philosophy student. He was not a student of sociology. Sociology as a discipline was not there. Okay. He is the first person to establish department of sociology in the world. First ever department of sociology in the world was established by him. Okay. Now, when you are going to establish a department or when you establish anything, you will have to tell to the world also now what is the purpose of this department or what is the purpose of this company. Okay. So, he is telling to the world sociology department has been created. Okay. And people are asking him, what are we going to study in sociology? So that is why he is writing this book. So he is saying that social fact is one subject matter that can differentiate us from psychology and philosophy. So the people who were taking psychology, he told them, mat lo psychology. People who were taking philosophy, he told them, don't take philosophy, it's not scoring anymore. Okay. Then people were like, but you have established Department of Sociology right now only, just one day back. How would I get score? So he said, how would I get score? Durkheim told him, you know why you are asking this line, how would I get score? Because there is one social fact which has influenced you. This is not you speaking, it is meritocracy speaking through you. And then person got shocked. Meritocracy speaking through me. He said yes. Nice. Okay, I'll take sociology. Aajo, aajo. So basically, Durkheim's objective was to tell the individuals that individuals, you do not exist. You are controlled by larger structures. And this is something that only sociology can tell all of you. Okay. And that is why he wrote this book. And what was the main topic that is going to differentiate sociology from others? This was social fact. And this is something that you can also write in the question on sociology versus psychology now. Remember, we have done sociology versus psychology. Okay. There, I did not tell you intentionally social fact because it does not make sense, because then I would have to explain also. So anyhow, when I have to come here, why to explain all those things? So basically, these are those things which you are going to use in your previous units also. Unit 1, Unit 2. Are social facts also called social structures? Yes. All social structures are social facts only. Social phenomena, social structures, social facts, all are one and the same thing to Durkheim. Okay. Now, let us try to understand some of the important aspects of social fact. Okay. General features of social fact. First, first, Social facts are, as all of you know, external to the individuals. Second, as you know, it is coercive as well. Third, it is general. What is the meaning of general? It means they are present everywhere. Any society you pick up, you will find the structure of family. American, Indian, African, okay. Anywhere you see, you will find concept called family. Okay. Although, when I say everywhere you will find family, this seems very general statement, but it is a matter of inquiry. It is actually a very strange thing that how come everywhere we have these units, family. I mean, think like a sociologist, someone who does not belong to Earth. In the sense, he's studying the people and he's trying to see how come all these people have concepts like economy, family, religion everywhere is there. But forms may be varying, but religion is there, family is there. Okay. So obviously it is a general occurrence. Okay. And fourth, independent. Independent. What is the meaning of independent? Tomorrow you will die, but religion will still be there. Family will still be there. These are those things which never die. You have life, religion does not have life. Family as an organism does not have life. It is independent of all of you. Okay, we take birth, we live our life, we die. These institutions are there even before us and will remain even after us. That is why independent of our existence. Okay. Okay. So this is the these are the general features of social fact. Okay. इसमें तो I hope you do not have any doubt. Why external, why coercive? There's something that I've already told you yesterday. These are very easy things. Okay. Now, let us try to understand the next step. Durkheim is now. Durkheim has basically told the students what is social fact, what are the features of social fact. Now, the next question which students are asking to Durkheim is, what are we going to achieve by studying social facts? Okay, and how can we study? See, the biggest problem is if you are going to study religion, it is very difficult phenomena because you cannot see it. Can you see religion? You see only individuals praying. You never see religion per se. You see temple. You see individuals. You see pandit. You never see religion. Okay. So how do we study religion? How do we study something that is not visible? Very difficult task. Then Durkheim told the students, are you guys idiots? Can you see gravity? Students said no. But it was studied by Isaac Newton. नहीं वो तो ठीक है नहीं वो ठीक नहीं. Can you see friction? No. The force of friction is not visible. You only see the impact of friction. You do not see friction per se. Do you see friction force per se? No. But the impact is visible and scientists studied. Yeah, right. So basically, Durkheim is telling the students in natural sciences, the phenomena or laws that people talk about, those things are not equally visible. Still, they study it. So why can't we study these things? Then students asked him, but why do you want to copy them? Apna kuch karo. So he said, I'm not copying them. I am telling them societies are governed by laws, just like nature is governed by laws. And if I want to figure out the laws of society, I would have to study the phenomena as if they are as real they are in the natural world. In the sense, you can only formulate a theory on something only if you treat it as an object of research. Apple was the apple was the object of research to Newton. Only then he could come up with a law of gravity. To me, the family is the new apple. I will study family. I'll come up with a law. Are you trying to understand what Durkheim is actually, what going on in the mind of Durkheim? Okay. Now, write down the ambition of Durkheim was first, obviously, to distinguish sociology from other social sciences. Second, to establish sociology as empirical sciences. These are the only two ambitions, nothing else. बस इतना ही करना है उसको. To distinguish sociology from other social sciences. And how did he distinguish sociology from other social sciences? By talking about social facts. Now, last thing is left. To establish sociology as empirical science, how is he going to do this? This is something that now I will tell you. Clear yahan tak? Okay. Let us discuss how did he establish. I'm talking about second step. How did sociology get established as empirical sciences? What all did he do to establish sociology as empirical science? This is what I'm going to tell you right now. He said, if you follow certain rules, then you will establish sociology as empirical sciences. In the sense, every scientist follows some rules. Scientific method is what? A set of rules that you follow to develop laws. Okay. So Sociologists will also follow certain rules on the lines of natural science. Only then we can also develop laws like them. Okay, so he discussed rules to formulate theories in the social world. Okay, now what is the first rule? First rule is rule of observing social fact. This is the first rule. Rule of observing social fact. Okay, you know what is social fact now? Very well. Now the question is, how do we observe it? Bhai, we are going to apply scientific method now. So scientific method, the first step, do you remember scientific method first step? Observation. The basic postulate. Observation. You observe something. Okay. Then you identify the problem. First you observe with your eyes. Empiricism. Okay. So he also said there are rules of observing social fact. Now what are the rules? He is saying that, first of all, when we observe social phenomena or social fact, we should treat social fact as things. This is his line. Things. Things. What is the meaning of things here? Okay. Social, we should treat, remember this line, very important. We should treat social facts as things. In the sense, why is he saying treat them? He also knows religion cannot be seen, family cannot be seen, but he's saying treat them as if they are visible. Treat them like things. Apple is a thing. Similarly, treat family like an apple, something that is visible to you. Treat like that. Very difficult thing it is. Okay, but okay, कर लेते हैं. When you are going to treat something as things, are you going to allow your values to influence you? See, apple is apple. It is not good or bad. It is not white or black. Right? We do not, a scientist, when he is studying white rat, he is not saying that a white rat does not look nice, change the rat. Rat is rat. Rat is not Brahmin, Dalit or black, white. There are no values. Rat is rat. Thing. Okay. Rat is not any emotional thing, simply an object of research. Don't get emotional. Okay. So, think about doctors when they treat patients. When a normal person would look at those patients being treated in operations, no, they would be feeling like, oh, ye kya hai? But doctors are not doing like this. To them, the patient body is simply an object of study or operation, nothing else. Okay. The rules of observing social fact, we should treat them as things only. When we treat them as things, okay, second bullet. First point only, but second bullet. When we treat them as things, we should rid ourselves of the prejudices and values. Okay, when we treat them as things, we should rid ourselves of the prejudices that we may be having. But now we are social scientists, we cannot afford to have prejudice. Okay, so like for example, to you guys, crime is very bad. You know, crime is something that is not should not be there. But to a sociologist, crime is crime. It is not good or bad. It is present in society. It is a phenomena, simply. He would not say, crime, no, no, it should not be there. Remember, Durkheim is a positivist scholar here. When he is writing this book, Rules of Sociological Method, he is no more philosopher now. The positivist Durkheim is coming out now. Positivist Durkheim. Okay. The positivists are those people who apply the scientific method to the study of social phenomena. They treat social phenomena as natural entities only. Okay. So, rule of observing social fact. I have covered 2 points. Now, the third point is once treated as things and once we rid ourselves of prejudices, only then scientific method can be applied. Only then scientific method can be applied. Understood? ये नो जो है ये अभी वाले के लिए है या पहले का था? अच्छा, यस ना, ठीक है. Once treated as things and once we rid ourselves of prejudices, only then scientific method can be applied. Okay. So this was first rule. Rule of observing social fact. Over. Okay. Remember, first we will cover what they have said and then we will criticize them. Okay, first it is important to understand what they want to tell us. Second rule. Rule of classification between normal and pathological social fact. Rule of classification between normal and pathological social fact. I'll tell you one question now. Is crime normal or pathological? ये कौन था बीच में? Arun Raja already studied sociology. Yeah? Nice. Okay. Arey, crime is very normal phenomena. Why? And why? How do I define something as normal? This is the first question. Okay. See, I am a scientist of society. I'm Mr. Durkheim. And since I'm scientist of society, I'm seeing just like family we have everywhere, crime also we have everywhere. Now, the moment you said crime is pathological, did you get yourself away from the prejudices that Durkheim wants you to have right in the first step? You did not. उसने बोला हटा लो जो सोचा है हमने क्राइम वाइम के बारे में कि खराब होता है. Only you think crime is bad, that is why you are saying it is pathological. Why you think it is bad? It is a phenomena to be studied. Okay. So crime is normal, simple. Okay, don't think like a human being, an emotional human being. Think like a scientist. Okay, like for example, asteroid. Let me talk like this. Asteroids and comets, are they normal or pathological? Normal. Normal. See, let me tell you one thing. The astronomer or the astrophysicists who study these phenomena, asteroid or comets, they do not treat asteroid or comets as bad. They should not be coming. No, 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 please. Let us stay away from them. No. To them, they are simply object of research. How did they come? Where did they come from? What is the composition of asteroid? Let us try to understand. So they will always study asteroid like a curious being, someone who does not know about asteroid. Are you trying to understand? Yesterday, there was a very beautiful article on science and pseudoscience. Okay. And there was a term given in there, cargo cult. Okay. I don't know how many of you have read that article. What is cargo? No, those people, the tribal people. It is a very beautiful story. I don't want to describe that whole story. Those tribal people, they used to see American soldiers coming into their island, okay, with big jeeps. And this is the story from World War, okay. Imagine an isolated tribal society. They are seeing for the first time aeroplanes. First time they are seeing aeroplanes, and you know, their reaction to aeroplane is just like how we react to something that is declared as unidentified flying object, UFO. Okay, we see those things as UFO aliens. Now imagine those people calling our things, the things that we consider as normal, as aliens. Are you trying to understand? And now there is another person, sociologist, who is treating the way we think or the way we see as normal, in the sense not something to shock about. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is, astronomer would call those things as normal, sociologists would call these things as normal. Okay, so crime is, first of all, let us try to understand, What is normal and pathological? Write down. Normal social fact is any social fact that has general occurrence, and is common to society. Okay. Any social fact that has general occurrence and is common to society. Simple. What is pathological? Anything that is not common or having general occurrence is pathological. Simple. The opposite, the exact opposite of normal. Okay. Anything that is not common or having general occurrence is pathological. Now, crime. It is normal and inevitable. Why? Okay, I'm giving you example now. Why crime is normal and inevitable? Inevitable means something which cannot be avoided. It will be there. It is general phenomena. Okay. Crime is normal and inevitable. Why? Because we have crime in USA. We have crime in India. We have crime in Finland. We have crime in Pakistan. We have crime in China. Is there any society where there is no crime? Tell me. Can anybody tell me any society where there is no crime? Okay. Okay. Crime is there. किशोर हाँ यस नहीं है मेरे को लगा यस बोल दिया okay so therefore crime is a normal general phenomena okay in fact you would be surprised to know that America has crime rate higher than India. America's crime rate is higher than India. Okay, anyhow, you know, when do we call crime as pathological? When we have extreme high crime rate, then it becomes pathological. And also when we have extremely low crime rate, in that case also crime would be pathological fact. When you have crime extremely low or extremely high, that is pathological fact. When you have crime, it is normal. Understanding my point? Okay. So, now imagine a sociologist. What is he doing? He has just just few minutes back, he has just visited a country. Okay. In that country, newspaper has come. In the newspaper, he saw one individual who posted something on social media. He was sent to jail. Okay, now imagine like this. There is one individual who posted something on social media. He was sent to jail. Now a sociologist is reading this newspaper. What will he observe? He will observe that posting this thing is a crime. That means, I mean, he is simply trying to understand how we define crime as. He does not know anything about crime. All the preconceived notions, values, prejudices are over. He is studying you guys. So to him, posting something on social media, which actually led him to jail, is an act of crime. So that will be recorded in his register. He will record this. Okay. Then he will read the history of India out of interest. And then he will see Gandhi was also sent to jail. Okay. That person who posted on social media, he was sent to jail. Okay. Okay. So therefore, the society regards this thing as criminal. Gandhi was sent to jail by Britishers. Okay. So this phenomena is also regarded as crime. So he is noting down everything which we call as crime. Are you trying to understand? What is he doing? He is not letting his influence or values coming in. He is not emotional to Gandhi. He does not know Gandhi. Okay. To him, Gandhi is simply an individual. What he is studying is how society reacts to the things and how society labels those things as crime. Okay. Bhagat Singh was sent to jail. Okay, so the very act of, throwing the bomb was or is regarded as crime. Okay, let me note this down also. Today, you go out in the street without mask, police will fine you 2000 rupees. Sociologist is standing near the tree. Okay, he is observing me. And then sociologist will record. Again, he will take out his book and record. Not wearing mask is also crime. Okay, now if you read his diary after 1 year, you will see there are many things that we regard as crime. But if you are one of the person involved in that situation, you may not call it crime. He is simply recording what society considers as crime. Okay, society of the pre-constitutional era of India or society, the contemporary society. Okay, now, now, crime is therefore a deviance from the collective sentiments, okay, or collective consciousness. जो वर्ड ठीक लगे वो लिखो, does not matter. Okay, crime is nothing but deviance from the collective sentiments or the collective consciousness. Okay, now tell me, Was Nelson Mandela criminal? फिर से values आ गई. Again values coming. अरे how would you become sociologist? Do you guys know Nelson Mandela was called as terrorist? Terrorist, not even criminal. He was regarded as terrorist for leading African National Congress against apartheid. You would celebrate him as fighter, okay, against apartheid. But he was also I am a sociologist, you are a sociologist. You guys simply have to record how people are labeled as deviant. Deviance from the collective sentiments. Now, what was the collective sentiment in Africa? The collective sentiment in Africa in that era was that whites, coloreds, Africans are three different races and three different nations. This was the collective sentiment. All of us had agreed to it. The Africans had complete collective sentiments around this thing that yes, all three are completely different forces or nations. Okay. One day, this collective sentiment was broken by Nelson Mandela. Whenever you break collective sentiment, you are criminal. Everybody was putting on mask. I did not put on mask. चले गया मैं दुकान में. I'm criminal. Whosoever would break the collective sentiment is criminal. This is something I, as a sociologist, had recorded in my diary. And I started recording all the events that we regard as criminal or society regards as crime. Understanding or not? Yes. ठीक है. अच्छा है. Was Martin Luther King criminal? अब यस ही बोलना पड़ेगा क्योंकि मालूम है नो का स्कोप है नहीं. यस ही बोलना पड़ेगा. ओके. Why Martin Luther King was criminal? Civil rights movement. Yes. Civil rights movement was to end slavery. And slavery was normal. Why slavery was a normal social fact. It was general occurrence in those times. And then one man comes, he breaks the collective sentiment, and he says, abolish slavery. He has broken collective sentiment. Talking about abolition of slavery, इसको अंदर डालो जेल में. भाई, anyone who deviates from collective sentiment is criminal. Now remember, to be criminal is not bad. अब आ गए ना उस लाइन पे. Now would you be able, would you be in a position to say that being criminal is bad? You would not be. When you are saying being criminal is bad, you are talking like human, but you have to talk like a sociologist. Being criminal is not good or bad. It is simply a phenomenon. We have to study why he was regarded criminal. Because he deviated from the collective sentiment. Okay, recorded. He is not saying, अरे बड़े खराब लोग हैं ये मंडेला, भगत सिंह, ऐसे लोग नहीं होने चाहिए. Galileo Galilei was the first one to break the collective sentiment. Is he criminal? बोल नहीं पाओगे अब. ठीक है, अभी धीरे धीरे ऑब्जॉर्ब हो जाएगा सब. अभी उस जोन में चल जाओगे अपने आप. You will feel that you are entering into a new thread. Okay. So from the profane life or the mundane everyday life, now you are going to enter into the territory of sociology. Okay. Okay. Why marital rape is not crime, that is a different topic. I don't want to talk about it right now. Okay. I'll talk about it later on. अभी नहीं. नहीं तो मैं भूल जाऊंगा सब कुछ. ठीक है, सारा पूरा जो ट्रेजेक्टरी खत्म हो जाएगी. So Galileo Galilei was considered as criminal because he broke the collective sentiment. Okay. Therefore, he was a deviant. Whosoever would deviate from the sentiments would be regarded as criminal. Socrates. Socrates was one of the first person to break the Athenian laws. Athens Empire. He broke the Athenian laws. And today, Athenian laws are running on Socrates' logic and principle only. Okay. So, to deviate from the collective sentiment is not good or bad. It is a normal phenomenon. Unless we deviate from collective sentiment, how would we proceed further? How would we advance to the next level of society? For the social change to happen, one person or the other person would have to not obey the collective sentiments. Otherwise, if everyone starts obeying the collective sentiments, there would be no social change. So, to disobey or to deviate from sentiment, collectivity is a normal phenomenon. Okay. Anyhow, so I hope now you have understood how do we define something as normal and how do we define something as abnormal. Also, one more point you can write here. Normal and abnormal are temporal and spatial. Sociologists are most deviant as they study everything from newer dimensions. That is why I told you sociology is the most dangerous subject. Okay. And most dangerous also why? Because there are many things in Delhi University and JNU that professors do not teach deliberately because they have been given instruction not to teach these things. Like for example, postmodernism is one philosophy that nobody teaches here. In JNU, some people teach, okay, but that is very radical philosophy. उसको छोड़ दो, but वो main चीज वो नहीं है. Normal and abnormal are temporal and spatial. In the sense, what was abnormal or pathological yesterday, it can be normal today. Or what is normal in one space may be abnormal in another space. How? You guys know very well. Monarchy, everything I'll tell you from unit 1 and 2. Okay, then you will understand. Monarchy was normal social phenomena. Today, monarchy is not normal. Today, monarchy is pathological because monarchy is not present in every society. In every society, you do not find this. So, that way, today, monarchy is a deviance from the common phenomena of states, democratic states, or the rule by the people, the common masses. Okay, republics. Okay, but the same thing was normal in those times. In those times, world was ruled by monarchs only. Okay, but today the same thing has become pathological. Right? Time factor is there. And space factor is also there. Secondly, slavery. Slavery was very normal phenomena. In 1500, you would talk about slavery, that is very normal phenomena. Maybe if I was in 1500, born in 1500, I was a slave. Not a big deal. It was very normal in those times to be a slave or to be a master to that slave. Very normal phenomenon. But today, if you practice slavery, we have United Nations Human Rights Commission as well. There is a resolution against slavery. Slavery has been abolished. Untouchability has been abolished. How come you are practicing slavery? So slavery today is pathological. Then it was normal. Patriarchy was normal. Today it is not normal. We have feminism running in fifth wave. Today we are talking about fifth wave of feminism. Okay, feminism also has waves, many waves. The first was Mary Wollstonecraft. Today we are witnessing fifth wave. Okay, every wave has different scholars. You will see the evolution of feminism also one day. Okay, when I will teach you. So this was all about normal and pathological. Okay, these are rules. Rules. When you are going to study society scientifically, the way, if you remember, I told you in scientific method, there is one step, classification of data. Remember this or not? You have one step, classification of data. How are we going to classify in the social world? We are going to classify according to two dimensions, normal, pathological. How do we consider something as normal? If it has general occurrence and if it is common. How do we consider it as pathological? If it is not general occurrence or not common. Simple. This is our way of classifying data. Okay, and we have achieved it very objectively. No value, no bias, no Indian, no African, only sociologist, nothing else, and society. Okay, next. Next, rule of constructing social types. Rule of constructing social types. Okay, what is this rule? Very simple. It is also like classification only. I have recorded all those acts which are considered as deviants. I have recorded all, I have maintained a diary of all those acts which are regarded as criminal acts or deviant acts in the society. Okay, I have recorded all of them. Now, some of them are married people. See, this was my diary in the second step. This was my diary. I recorded someone not wearing mask as crime. Someone throwing bomb as crime. Someone speaking for freedom, crime. I have maintained my diary, but all things are considered as crime. Now, after this, what I'll do, I will further classify these people into male, female, married, single. How many of them who were against slavery were men? How many of them who were against slavery were women? How many of them were male, female? How many of them were Hindus or Muslims? I am constructing social types. Further going into classification, agreed? Okay, what will I achieve? This is something that I will tell you later on. But this is what I am doing. I am collecting data as much as possible. Okay. Okay. Next, one more social type I am constructing. These were social types. Gender, marital status, gender, marital status, religion, race, nationality. Okay. Another social type which sociologists construct is of, as you have also seen by now, is simple society or traditional society. Second is complex society or modern society. These are social types only that we construct. Okay. Okay. So the third step is also over. I've constructed social types, regarded social facts as normal, pathological, observed them, removed my biases, prejudices, then observed them and then classified them as normal, pathological, and then finally looked into further social types. Okay, all these things I have done. Now, next rule. Rule of explaining cause and function of social fact. Cause and function of social fact. Very important rule. All these rules are important. All these rules. Okay. You will take some time to absorb these things. Okay. It takes some time to for these things to go into head. Okay, that is okay. cause and function of social fact. For example, how do we define the cause and effects of the things? For example, crime. Let me talk about crime only. Crime is a social fact, right? What is the cause of this social fact? I would not say one individual. Remember this. What would I say? Deviance from the collectivity. Understanding or not? I have recorded not the name of Gandhi, Nehru, Martin, Luther King, or all these people. I did not record the names of these people. I only recorded the acts. Act of throwing bomb is crime. Act of speaking for freedom is crime. ऊपर देखो मैंने लिखा है. मैंने नेल्सन मंडेला का नाम ही लिखा. Because I did not know who is he. I am simply an observer. Okay. So, what is crime? Crime can be explained, and there is a cause behind crime, and the cause behind crime is deviance. Deviance from collective sentiments. Deviance from collective sentiments led to crime. And what is collective sentiments? Another social fact. Agreed or not? Okay. Acha. Now, how did this social fact come into existence? Collective sentiments. See, let me give you one example of Sabrimala temple case. Okay. When the girl entered into Sabrimala temple, it was deviance from the collective sentiments. Okay. That means the crime was, what was crime? A girl entering into temple is crime. I have recorded this. I do not know the name of that girl. I just know when the girl entered into temple, these people did not like, and the case got, so much escalated that it was considered as illegitimate or deviant by society. So I recorded it in my diary. अच्छा ये भी crime होता है, चलो कोई बात नहीं. So what is the cause of that crime? The cause of that crime was deviance from collective sentiments. Acha, collective sentiments, social fact. And what is the cause of the collective sentiments? The cause of collective sentiments was religion. Agreed or not? Right? Who formed the collective sentiments? Religion. So basically, the more you go backward, the more you talk about phenomena only. You would never ever come across individual being because of something. गायब हो जाते हैं individual. गायब. Okay. We record only phenomena. We do not record individuals. Okay. So what does it show? It simply shows that cause of a social fact is another social fact. Cause of another social fact is also another social fact. And this tells us that how do we explain the cause of social fact? By another social. It simply means that cause of a social effect, social fact is another social fact simply. इतना लिखो बस. क्या हुआ? जेंडर? आकाश? Collective sentiments. Collective sentiments. What was the reason for that collective sentiments? That only male should be there in that Sabrimala temple. Religion. Okay. And what is the, let us go deep. How did religion come into existence as a fact? Okay, what is the cause of this? It would be patriarchy. Would be patriarchy. I mean, I can go as much backward as I want, but I would never come across individual in the whole causation. Okay. Please explain that collective sentiment part. Collective sentiments and collective consciousness, one and the same thing. Collective consciousness of the temple was stay silent, शांति से अपना आराम से रहेंगे, बैठेंगे चुपचाप. Okay, suddenly a girl comes, ध्यान सबका टूट गया. You know, Lord Shiva. Okay, if you have seen those episodes ever in your life, you must have seen that generally, women are regarded as the elements which can disrupt your peace. The media shows and reproduces and reaffirms the belief that women, the moment she danced, Lord Shiva, everything, all the meditation, peace got disturbed. Women. Now, this consciousness, every time since childhood you have been seeing these things, your consciousness have gotten built up, and you form a religious community, and you agree, yeah, women ka छोड़ो, अपना पंडित लोग का अपन देखते हैं. In fact, even in Buddhism, in Buddhism also, the concept of female monk got established very later on. Initially, it was all about male monks. Okay. Even today, there is a hierarchy amongst the Buddhist monks. The female nuns are considered as inferior to the male monks. Okay. Anyhow, basically, collective sentiment of Sabrimala temple was, whatever that may be, it was got broken when the girl entered into Sabrimala. Okay. I recorded it as crime because society considered it as crime, in the sense it was seen as something that is deviance. So I recorded it as deviance only. Okay. What was the cause of this deviance? What was the cause of this crime? Deviance from collective sentiments. Whose collective sentiments? How did they form? Religion. And through patriarchy. Social fact. Social fact is the cause of another social fact is the cause of another social fact. Write down one line. Durkheim argued. Social facts should never be reduced to the level of individual. Underline, highlight, italics, bold, everything. Social facts should never ever be in their lives be reduced to the level of individuals. Okay. So we have explained the cause of social fact. Now let us come to the function of social fact. This topic is bit technical. Okay. Only this topic. The next topic is very interesting. Okay. We'll talk about religion. What is religion? We'll talk about suicide also. Only this topic is a bit technical. Okay. But it is very easy. Very easy. Let us see the function. And why do we see function? This is also something that I'll explain. In this point only, fourth point. We have explained cause of social fact. Now is the turn to explain the function of social. Crime is normal or pathological? Normal. Now you agree, crime is normal, right? Now I'm asking you one thing. If it is normal, it must be doing something, na? That is why it is still there. See, if crime was abnormal thing, it would have been gone by now, but it still exists amongst us, within us, around us, over and above us. Okay, so crime is there everywhere. So it must be doing something good as well, so called. It must be beneficial as well to the society. Otherwise, it would have been gone by now. What is that one good thing that it does? Police laws, moral lessons. We compare to know what is acceptable and what is not. हाँ ठीक है, right? It restores faith in state. Crime per se does not restore faith in state. Punishment restores faith in state. Okay, I'm not talking about function of punishment. I'm talking about function of crime. You know, if these people were not regarded as criminals, or if these people had not done that so-called deviant act, they would not have advanced to the next level of society. Okay, Gandhi was declared as terrorist. Okay, Ambedkar, sorry, this Bhagat Singh was declared as terrorist. Okay, you will see many big freedom fighters being declared as terrorist, in the sense deviants. Okay, had we not had those people, societies would not have progressed. Okay, when I'm talking about crime, don't think about that murder. ये सब मत सोचना please. See, I told you, get yourself and rid yourself of all the preconceived notions that you think of crime. Marital rape, murder, चाकू, खून, ये सब नहीं है crime. है crime definitely. Crime is a social phenomena. Simply I'm recording what things are considered as crime. Okay. Speaking for freedom is also regarded as crime. Okay. Juhi Chawla. Juhi Chawla was fighting for safety of the people from the radiation coming out from, which may be coming out from the 5G networks. Okay. What she did was for the welfare of society only. He was concerned about the health of people. Supreme Court labeled contempt of court against her, in the sense deviant. Why deviant? He, maybe हो सकता है. He must have forwarded that link to the Instagram people as well. Okay, and they came in, started talking to judge like, और भाई सब क्या चल रहा है? Think like that. Anomy, it was whole anomy in the court. ये कौन लोग आ गए हैं? We are talking to Juhi Chawla. Who are these people? Juhi Chawla had forwarded the link. सबको शेयर कर दिया, लिंक शेयर करो. आजकल ये भी बड़ा चलता है, शेयर, सब जो मिल रहा है शेयर करते जाओ. ठीक है, हाँ बताओ. So she was deviant. So I recorded that thing also in my diary as deviance. Okay. Court said it was publicity stunt. It is contempt of court. You wasted our time. Okay, you will be now you will be charged with this much of fine. Charging someone with fine, I have registered this thing in my mind as an act of deviance. When you charge someone fine, in my diary I have recorded it is equal to crime. So I have recorded it as deviance. What is wrong? This is what I observed. So Juhi Chawla is a deviant or a criminal, whatever you call. Okay. So instead of criminal, you may also use the word deviance, because when you use the word criminal, na, it is very, very value loaded. You start thinking of murderers, psychological thrillers, all those things. Okay. So That will be easier. What is the function of social fact? The function of social fact, first of all, is to unite the people and bring social cohesion against what is regarded as crime. When you see crime, what is the function? It unites the people. Delhi rape case, Nirbhaya case. When it happened, whole India got united. Okay. And when whole India got united, it reaffirmed the power of collectivity onto the state. And the state was in complete shock कि जल्दी जल्दी केस निपटाओ, ये कौन है, जल्दी निपटाओ. Okay. State could feel the power of collective consciousness. Okay. And therefore state came up with laws, stringent laws, installed CCTV camera everywhere. This is the power of collective consciousness, and this was the function of crime. It restored the collective fabric, which somehow had gotten lost in the era of individualism. We were only concerned about ourselves. One day, one woman was raped out openly in the streets of Delhi. We forgot individualism. Again, the fabric of collectivity got charged up. And it is the same fabric which could force the state to come up with stringent laws against this act of deviance. Okay. Agreed? What is the second function of crime? Crime helps the society to understand what is acceptable and what is not. Simple. Crime helps all of us to understand what is acceptable, what is not. Repeat the last line. This is the only problem with me. I cannot repeat my things. Honestly, I do not remember. I forgot everything. वो उस टाइम एक वो ना वो फ्लो में चल रहा होता है उस टाइम वो निकल जाता है. You have the option of recording, you can see. Okay. Crime helps the society to understand what is acceptable and what is not. When I was driving my car 2 days back, okay, I was stopped by police. I was having cold coffee. Okay. And while having cold coffee, you cannot have mask on your face. This is very obvious. The least that you can do is to cling that mask onto your ears. ठीक है, to give the impression that हाँ है, उसका भी है, पर ये भी है important. ठीक है. So the police people stopped me. They said, "Where is mask?" I said, "ये रहा, ये देखो. See here, this is the mask." Then they are saying, "Fine, 2,000 rupees fine." I said, "See, I did not know that even while drinking or eating something you can fine people. If that is the case, you must be collecting a lot of money at 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. because that is the lunch hour and dinner time. You are more, you can easily become crorepati in one day. Just try to spot on people who are eating and having Coca-Cola or Pepsi, become billionaire overnight." So easy task. And there are many people who eat at 2 p.m. Many. Why only me? So with this, I got to know while driving, you should not be eating or drinking something. A new thing that he told me. It was not about mask now. So he told me, no, while driving, basically, you should not be eating or drinking anything. Achhi. Okay. So I got to know what is acceptable and what is not. And all my friends also got to know. Now they will not eat or drink while driving. Not that they will not, they will, I know. सुनते कहाँ हैं आजकल किसी के लोग, ठीक है, लेकिन still पढ़ना है हमें तो हम तो ये लिखेंगे. Crime helps society to understand what is acceptable, what is not. Okay. Third, crime is basically, Durkheim has said very beautiful line. Crime is anticipation of the morality in the future. क्या बात है, क्या बात. Crime is anticipation of morality of the future. सोच रहे हो तुम उस आदमी की सोच कहाँ है? Crime is anticipation of the morality of the future. In the sense, remember, he is very moralist kind of person. Okay. He says if these people had not committed so-called crime, speaking for blacks, speaking for Dalits, speaking for lesbians, gays, okay, if these people had not been there, how would our society have been moral to accommodate these seemingly different people into the common collective fabric of the society? Okay. So that is why anticipation of morality of the future. यही तो दिक्कत है आकाश, रिपीट नहीं होता है. So that is why na, you guys have one advantage that you can see the recording. Only for those things you can record that time जहाँ पे आपका मिस हो गया, आपके लिए आसान रह जाएगा वहाँ पे सीधा पहुँचना. This was all about. Now last rule. All these rules will go. These are those rules which are going to help you in all the units. Remember this. Unit 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, paper 2. Everywhere only these rules are going to help you. Nothing else. That is why it is very important. Why are we focusing only on crime? Arey bhai, I had to give one example, so I chose crime. I had to give one example, so I chose crime. And why did I chose crime? Because crime is generally something that we consider as pathological. So that was best example for me to tell you how to not think like, how not to think like. To tell you this, crime is the best example because we generally think crime as murder or something which is not acceptable. But here we got to know crime is functional and crime is normal. पूरा mindset ही change करा दिया. Crime ऐसा example है. So other examples would be nothing if you know this now. Asking about functions of social fact are all applicable on other social facts too? Yes, any other social fact you talk about have one or the other functions to the society. Right? Any function. But I deliberately am talking about crime because crime is something that we are not able to think like that. We have never seen crime through that lens, the same lens that I'm emphasizing on today. Okay. Anyhow, Let us talk about fifth rule. That is the last rule. Last rule है. Okay. Rule for testing and explaining social fact. Simply you can write test. Leave explaining. Rules for testing social facts. Shubham, please explain third point again. Third point was, what was the third point? Crime is anticipation of morality in the future, something like this. Yes, if those people had not committed so-called what is regarded as crime, how would our societies have become what we consider as being moral? In the sense, today we consider the cooperation between blacks and whites as something which is normal and should be there since we are living in the era of human rights. Had basically had Martin Luther King not voiced out on behalf of the blacks, today blacks would not have had the respect or they would not have integrated into the moral fabric of society. It was only because of the civil rights movement. Got it now? आकाश, तुमको भी आगे समझ, मैंने रिपीट कर दिया. Atika Qureshi, sir, what does this statement say? Social fact should not be reduced to the level of individual level. Should not be reduced to individual level in the sense, every phenomena that you see, to explain the cause of that phenomena, you should not be talking about individuals. You would have to talk about forces and other social facts. You would have to talk about, for example, why suicide happens in society. In order to explain this, I would not be talking about dispute between two people. No, I would not say because this guy had a fight with this girl, so that is why suicide. अरे this is ये sociology है क्या? ये तो common sense हो गया. ऐसे ही तो लोग बात करते हैं. ऐसे तो लोग बात करते हैं आपस में. When they talk like this, they are not explaining the suicide phenomena as a scientific social fact. They are explaining as if it is a common occurrence and something which is reduced to the level of individuals. But a sociologist would not say. Rather, sociologists would say the act of suicide in society reflects weakening of the forces of integration in society. अभी घबराना नहीं है, ये अब आगे आएगा. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that when suicide is happening, how do I put that thing into your mind which is going on in my mind? This is also a very difficult task. Okay, like if I'm having some visuals in my mind, and if I want to see, I want you guys to see those visuals. ऐसा कोई मशीन आ जाए तो मजा आ जाए, ठीक है? Anyhow, what was the problem with Durkheim? Individualism. But he was not so much bothered about it. He was actually a liberal scholar also. So he said, okay, individualism is okay. Individualism is coming at the cost of social order. This is not okay. Okay. And when too much of individualism is there is nothing which is binding you, nothing which is integrating you to the society. Suicide would be a very normal phenomena. Are you getting my point now? the way Durkheim explains these things. So, why suicide happens? The cause of suicide is another social fact, which is the loss of collective sentiment or the weakening of collective consciousness. क्या बात है, क्या बात है डरखाइन. Okay, so this is how the things go on. Rules for testing social fact. How do we test the social fact? The problem is we know that these things are not observable. Acha. If these things are not observable, one thing is for sure that we cannot have laboratory experiment to test them. तो कुछ नहीं. Instead of direct laboratory experiment, let us conduct indirect experiment. So write down one line. Since social facts are not observable, empirically, okay, empirically, comma, a direct laboratory experiment as such cannot be performed. A direct laboratory experiment as such cannot be performed. In fact, to a sociologist, whole society is laboratory. Sociologist does not have any laboratory for the same reasons. Because he thinks laboratory, everything that people do is lab for me. Every act that people do is a part of that lab. So lab, इसलिए sociologist के लिए lab मजाक होता है. Okay. तो क्या करें फिर? Therefore, we should have indirect experiments. We should have indirect experiments. And what is that indirect experiment which a sociologist should conduct to find causal relation or to formulate theories? Durkheim believed, write down one line. Durkheim believed that it is the comparative method. It is the comparative method which is going to help us find causal relations and formulate theories. Okay, it is the comparative method which is going to help us find causal relation and formulate theories. Okay. And Durkheim was heavily inspired by John Stuart Mill's idea of logic that was on concomitant variation. Okay, I'll explain you that. पहले मैं बताता हूँ comparative method क्या है. Okay. I'll ask you one question. This is a glass of water. Glass of water. Okay. In this glass of water, You put lead. You put lead into a glass of water. What will happen? Water will become toxic. What is this? Laboratory experiment. Simple. नॉट ऐसा नहीं कि किचन में नहीं हो सकता हमारे घर के, किचन में करोगे तो किचन लैब बन जाएगा, लैब के लिए आपको वो नहीं चाहिए होता पूरा सामान. ओके, यू put lead into glass of water, it becomes toxic water. You put more lead. Okay, more lead, more lead, more lead. डालते जाओ डालते जाओ. What will happen? Toxicity of the water will also increase. Right? Now, simply asking you one question. CSAT paper 2, only logic. What can you conclude with this experiment? I just want logical reasoning. Science की जरूरत ही नहीं है यहाँ पर. It simply means yes, it simply means toxicity of water is effect. And what is the cause of toxicity? Increase in the content of lead. Simple. Was I not able to draw a causal relation here? ठीक है. I could see a direct causal relation. The more lead is inserted, the more water gets toxic. Therefore, toxicity can be attributed to the lead content. वाह वाह क्या फाइंडिंग है. Therefore, toxicity can be attributed to the lead content. This is what I have observed with this small experiment. Common sense, this is also a logic only, not common sense literally, but logic. Okay. So let us see how our sociologists conduct such experiments. Okay, they do not have lab as such. So what will they do? You must have realized one thing here. There is a relation between toxicity of water and the content of lead. What does it show? You increase the content of lead, you increase the toxicity of water. What does it show? It shows there is a concomitant variation between these two. Concomitant variation. This is a relation of concomitant variation. Write down. Write down. The toxic glass experiment can tell us. The toxic glass experiment can tell us that there is a concomitant variation There is a, let me write down spelling. Concomitant variation. There is a concomitant variation. Okay, Durkheim was reading John Stuart Mill one day. So that's how he came across this term. Okay. Because Durkheim is very much influenced by the Enlightenment scholars. Why? He is also positivist. He wants to apply scientific method to the study of social world with the reason, objectivity, scientific method. Obviously. Concomitant variation. I forgot exactly, sorry. What was the last line that I told you to write? Really sorry. Glass experiment can tell us. Yes, toxic glass experiment can tell us that there is a concomitant variation the between the content of lead and the toxic level of the water. Concomitant in the sense corresponding variation. You increase content lead content, and then you see increase in toxicity. It is concomitant variation, like this causal relation, basically, simply. Okay. However, in the social world, however, in the social world, we cannot have laboratory experiments as such. We cannot have laboratory experiment as such. Rather, whole society is treated as labs by a sociologist. Rather, whole society is treated as lab by a sociologist. And in this lab, of social world, a sociologist, comma, a sociologist uses concomitant variation and comparative method, uses concomitant variation or comparative method to find causal relation. To find causal relation. How? I'll tell you how. Remember this experiment. It will help you understand everything that I talked about. Okay, lead toxicity. Now, I'm a sociologist. I have a report in my hand. Okay. The whole world is laboratory. Remember, very difficult project. Whole social world is a laboratory now. What will I do? I am a sociologist. I do not belong to the earth. See, I will simply record what you consider as crime. I do not know what is crime. Preconceived notions are over. I am recording everything. Okay. So out of all the records that I have collected, finally I have arranged the people into different types. For example, some are married, some are single, some are Hindus, some are Muslims, some are upper castes, some are lower castes. Okay, let us assume that there is one data like this. Okay, and I saw that amongst married people, crime rate is low. Amongst single, crime rate is high. This is my observation. I have full data. I have full data. And then I classified, made social types. Then finally I figured out that actually what is happening is that single people have more crime rate. Married people have low crime rate. Hindus have crime rate high. Muslims have crime rate low. Upper caste crime rate high. Lower caste crime rate low. Let us assume this is what I have collected. This is my observation out of all the data. I have collected whole data from society. Now I have gone to my room, okay, and there I have noted down all the entries on Microsoft Excel, okay, and then I see a variation. I see some link, and somehow after seeing these links, I have observed one thing, that marriage, if being married, crime rate is low, that means there is a variation between these two. Remember, the more lead you insert into the water, the more toxic it gets. The more you get integrated with someone, if you are married, lower chances of being a criminal or committing a crime. What is it that I am trying to tell here? I have compared married people with single, and the conclusion that I have drawn is that the bond of integration is inversely proportional to crime rate. वाह, क्या बात है. देखो सोशियोलॉजिस्ट क्या करते हैं, हमें पढ़ के हमें बेवकूफ बनाते हैं. देखो, डेटा निकाल दिया हमारा, एंड देन टेलिंग अस मैरिड पीपल हैव लो क्राइम रेट, सिंगल पीपल हैव हाई. अच्छा, व्हाई सिंगल पीपल हैव क्राइम रेट हाई? एक आम आदमी से पूछो तुम, और एक सोशियोलॉजिस्ट से बात करना, डिफरेंस तुम्हें दिखेगा अब एक्सप्लेनेशंस में. ठीक है. Why single commit more crime? They are not integrated into the moral fabric of society, and that is why they are vulnerable to what is regarded as deviance by the collective sentiments. वाह 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 वाह, क्या बात है, वाह वाह क्या बात है. ऐसे तुम लोग को लिखना है और ऐसे समझना है तुम लोग को. ओके, कंपैरेटिव मेथड, राइट, यही तो है. ठीक है. आई होप नाउ एवरीथिंग इज क्लियर टू यू. आई मेंटेन्ड वन एग्जांपल थ्रू आउट इसके अंदर, ताकि एकदम क्लियर रहे तुम्हें. इसलिए सिर्फ क्राइम की बात कर रहा था मैं, ताकि कोई कंफ्यूजन ना रहे. ठीक है. अभी ये मैरिड सिंगल सुनते ही सुसाइड आ जाता है दिमाग में. सुसाइड भी क्यों लाए, क्यों लाए सुसाइड? क्राइम की ही बात करेंगे भाई. डरना नहीं है, एक्सपेरिमेंट से डरना नहीं. ठीक है. कल को न्यू क्वेश्चन आएगा तो यू शुड बी एबल टू सॉल्व इट. Okay, never rote learn. This is the main agenda. Okay, so now we will have 5 minutes break. Only 5 minutes break. Class will be till 4:30. Okay, as usual. But I need 5 minutes break. थोड़ा मेरा गला सूख गया है. Okay. Now, let us resume. So, I hope everybody is back. या मैं जल्दी आ गया? I hope I have not come too early. Yes. ठीक है. Okay. What is exactly that one thing that we have learned out of all the rules that we have studied so far? What is the conclusion? Why did we study these rules? Can somebody tell me what is the main objective of studying these rules? To establish sociology as empirical science. Very nice. Excellent. 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 Okay, you guys are going to get very good marks. Okay. Write down one line. The very objective of studying the rules was to understand how do we conduct experiments in the social world? What are the steps? How do we conduct experiments in the social world? Comma, what are the steps involved in conducting the experiment? What are the steps involved in conducting the experiment? And therefore, to establish sociology as an empirical science. And therefore, to establish sociology as an empirical science. Okay. But why is my mobile ringing like this? Is anybody texting something? मुझे ऐसी दिक्कत है नहीं. I thought कोई connection issue होगा कहीं, so people might have texted something on the group. Okay. You know, Durkheim has said one very beautiful line. Durkheim says, since I have told all of you, remember, these were the students who were very, skeptic about taking sociology, because sociology was established few days back only. The Department of Sociology was established few days back, and they did not know what is the objective of sociology, what are we going to do. And Durkheim has told everything to all of you in his class, that these are the things that we do, this is how we are going to conduct research. And finally, Durkheim told them that, students, do you know one thing? Comparative method is not just a method. Rather, comparative method is sociology itself. क्या बात है? Comparative method is not just a method. It is sociology in itself. In the sense, it is only through comparison that we draw out generalizations and we find causal relations between variables. Understood my point? See, what was this? This is a theory. This is a theory. More you have integration, less the chances of being a criminal, or lesser the crime rate in society. More you have marital alliances, lesser the criminal rate in society. Now, suppose tomorrow Times of India, Hindustan Times, Hindu, or Indian Express comes out with a report, some report, crime rate, okay, has decreased over the last 4 years in this district or state. Okay, now what will you do? You will conduct experiment. You will find out all the composition of the district, and then eventually you will find out that most of the people, the marital rate, the rate of marriage has actually increased. In the sense, just I'm just trying to justify this theory. Okay, it is not that marriage has linked direct any, but just one of the variable. Since marital rates have also increased over the last 4 years, this is also one of the factor for increase in integration among the people and to commit lower crime. Okay, so that way, that Times of India report has actually validated the Durkheim's theory. Okay, this is one example. Okay, and this is a law also. Law. How it is law? Force is equal to mass into acceleration. This is what integration is inversely proportional to the crime rate. अरे लॉ ही तो है दोनों, उसको तुम लॉ मानोगे, इसको क्यों नहीं मान रहे लोग? इसको भी मानो. They are talking about natural things, we are talking about social. What is wrong in there? They are talking about laws, we are also talking about. So this is also science. So comparative method is not just a method, it is sociology in itself. Okay, and how could I develop this law? Only by comparing married people with singles and to see the crime rate in both the cases. Then only I could develop this generalization. Now tell me, is Durkheim is following which method or reasoning? Inductive or deductive? Tell me. Very nice. Inductive. Inductive. Deductive कहां से हो गया? टेस्ट थोड़ा ना किया उसने कुछ. He simply observed and developed generalizations. Observed few married couples, few single couples. Did he observe all the married couples in the world? All the singles in the world? Few married, few singles. Developed generalization that marital alliance is inversely proportional to the crime rate. Inductive reasoning. क्या बात? Okay, so everything is that way. See, I have connected unit 2 also here with this unit 4. Okay, and why Durkheim was so hell-bent in establishing sociology as science? Unit 1. Durkheim was influenced by which scholar? Auguste Comte. Auguste Comte was influenced by which scholars? The scientists, natural scientists like Isaac Newton, Galileo Galilei, David Hume, all these people who are talking about observation, empiricism, skepticism, hypothesis, all these people, René Descartes, Francis Bacon, Spencer. Spencer is also one scholar. Okay. So that is why finally Durkheim told us how can we apply. The problem with Auguste Comte only told us sociology can help us in discovering laws. But he himself never did any experiment. Okay, Durkheim is conducting experiments also to tell the students. He has assembled the students in the class and he's telling us, because students were saying, I know you guys. Students were saying, we know Auguste Comte, okay, but he said nonsense, law of three series out of nowhere. Arey, what is the logic of law of three series? Kahan se bhai? Kuch bhi. Durkheim told us, don't worry. I'll tell you exactly how we conduct experiments, how we talk about laws. These are the concrete rules that he's talking about now. This is something that differentiates Durkheim from Auguste Comte. With proper rules, examples, he's telling this is the way a sociologist should be conducting scientific study of the social world. Okay, so this was all about social facts, right? So basically, basically, sociology is a science of social fact. And whenever you are going to study anything now onward, whatever you are going to study would be a social fact only. Suicide of an individual is an individual act, but suicide per se is a social fact. Understood? Suicide of an individual is an individual act, and I am Durkheim and I am not interested in studying why Sushant Singh Rajput committed suicide. I am not emotional like social media influencers. Okay. I would simply consider Sushant Singh Rajput as one of the individual amongst you. Okay. So I will record. I'm not a journalist who will ask Karan Johar, Alia Bhatt, what wrong did you do to Sushant Singh Rajput? Are nahi bhai. To me, Karan Johar, Alia Bhatt, there is no difference between these people. These are only individuals. Larger thing is the social force. Nobody is over and above the social facts. This is what Durkheim is. Okay. Okay. So you may ask your doubts now. Tomorrow we have tomorrow. Okay, yes. Tell me one thing. Are you guys free on Sunday? At the same time, 2 to 5 if I do it, no issue na? Okay. So next week we are going to have Sunday to Friday. Okay. Saturday will be off. Sunday to Friday. One day, Sunday, Saturday will be off. Okay. Sunday, most of the people are generally free. Okay, so tomorrow we do not have any class. Tomorrow I have to go somewhere. Okay. So Sunday, we'll meet you. Now you may ask your doubts. While writing answer, should third person singular should be used or first person singular? Third person, not first person. You will never say I or me. You will say it. Why social fact treated as things? Why social fact treated as things? Unless we treat them as things, how would we conduct research? What is the main idea? Why did we treat social fact as things? Remember this thing. Why did we treat social facts as things? Because unless we treat them as things, we would never be able to get over our preconceived notions, values, or biases towards that social fact. Okay, if you do not consider crime as thing, you will always be like, crime is good, crime is bad. How can Gandhi be criminal? How can Bhagat Singh be criminal? This is the way you will be talking. But you have to treat crime as a fact, a social fact. and to record all those things which are regarded as criminal by the society, irrespective of your personal biases toward Gandhi, towards Hinduism, towards Islam, towards Christianity, towards lower caste, upper caste. You have to treat these things at par. Handouts, Ria, evening, most probably by 6 p.m. Pratibha. Pratibha, concomitant variation I explained clearly. Higher you increase the lead in the water, more is the toxicity. There is a concomitant variation between the two variables. Lead content, toxicity content increases proportionally. This is concomitant variation. Okay. Pranshu, sir, is the spatial and temporal nature of social fact explain pathological social fact in society with organic solidarity where collective consciousness is already low. प्रांशु एक बार थोड़ा सा सिंपल करके एक बार पूछ लो मतलब कि मेरे को क्वेश्चन मैं पकड़ नहीं पाया हूँ एक बार थोड़ा डायरेक्ट करके प्रतिभा हो गया सौरभ सिन्हा concomitant variation means correspondence effect of one thing yes very nice सौरभ बिल्कुल सही how concomitant and comparative method different concomitant variation remember write down one line in the last rule number 5 write down one line concomitant variation is the procedure for comparative method concomitant variation is the procedure for comparative method है एक ही बात and the result is same only we are comparing only okay but generally concomitant variation is regarded only as a procedure for the comparative method okay it is a procedure na you increased the lead toxic water toxicity of the water increased this was procedure what was the comparative method in the sense you have drawn out a conclusion toxicity is directly proportional to lead so you compared a glass of water with no toxicity with no lead to a glass of water with toxicity and with lead only after this comparison you are drawing a relation that there is a relation between toxicity and lead agreed Riya Jain how concomitant ये हो गया Atika can we compare Juhi Chawla case to ethnomethodological no ये गलतियां कभी नहीं Atika Juhi Chawla never Juhi Chawla is not ethnomethodologist Juhi Chawla is not a sociologist okay ethnomethodologist is one who is doing sociology who is breaching voluntarily to tell us that social order is illusion जूही चावला ये सब थोड़ा ना कर रही है वो सिंपली कह रही है कि भाई 5G से केस 5G से हमारा जो हेल्थ है बिगड़ जाएगा इसमें एथनोमेथोडोलॉजी कहाँ आ गया कुछ भी नहीं है एथनोमेथोडोलॉजी इसके अंदर एथनोमेथोडोलॉजिस्ट ही नहीं है वो तो एथनोमेथोडोलॉजी का एक्सपेरिमेंट कैसे बोल रहे हैं उसने किया है ठीक है to conduct experimental ethnomethodology you have to be ethnomethodologist okay the Delhi University people who conducted experiment in McDonald they were doing ethnomethodological experiment it is a social experiment okay dharma sir what is solidarity पूरी रामलीला खत्म हो गया पूछे राम कौन है मतलब solidarity what is solidarity dharma solidarity is a product of integration when people are integrated that means solidarity in traditional society there was mechanical solidarity people had solidarity due to similarities similar thinking similar belief all of them had accepted religion as the source of values today in organic times sorry in the traditional or in the modern or industrial complex societies Solidarity is organic. In the sense, people are integrated not because of similarities, but because of differences. And that is why it is organic solidarity. Shubhangi, sir, all human actions are social fact? No, no. If I am going to buy cold drink from a market, it is not social fact. It was individual action. What is social fact? Religion, market, caste. So all those things which constrain me. Collective thinking, belief, acting, external to me and then constraining me. Just giving you one example. See, I am a girl. I bought scooty. This is market. TVS. I bought scooty. I am a girl. I bought scooty from TVS showroom. This is individual action. But it was her gender. Social fact. Which made her buy scooty and not bike. Gender is a social fact. External to you and coercive as well. If I tell a girl, why are you buying scooty? Buy the bike na. Then she will say, bike, nahi, I am comfortable with scooty. Matlab, she would not be explaining a lot. She would not be giving you so much explanation. She knows because I am asking very unusual question to her. Bhai, I am a sociologist. I want to make her uncomfortable. I want to take her out of the comfort zone, that so-called normative zone that she has shelved herself in. Okay. So she is not realizing that gender as a social fact has actually coerced her into buying only scooty and not. समझ गए? Nutan, sir, what is metaphysical critique reasoning from unit 2? Metaphysical means abstract. We see, one, you have scientific reasoning to explain everything. You have religious reasoning also to explain everything. And then you have in between an abstract reasoning, in the sense you are giving natural reasons, so-called nature forces. Like for example, let me tell you, coronavirus. How a religious man is going to explain coronavirus? How someone who is driven by metaphysical abstract reasoning is going to explain coronavirus, and how someone who is a scientist is going to explain coronavirus? A religious man, he will tell, what will he say? A religious man, coronavirus, okay, आपदा है ये, आपदा महाकाल है, ठीक है. This is आपदा, in the sense this is curse, something like this, and therefore they will conduct rituals, havans. Okay, and there have been many instances. You know, just 1 week back, very interesting thing. One new temple has been constructed. The name of temple is Corona Mata. Yes, check on Hindu, it has come. Corona Mata Mandir. They believe it is the curse of Mata, goddess, and we have to please her. Only then Corona will go away. This is religious thinking. Okay, now metaphysical abstract thinking. The reason for coronavirus is degradation of nature. Degradation of nature. This is very abstract, something which cannot be tested really easily. Okay, although not very religious explanation, but abstract reasoning. On the other hand, you have scientists telling you it is coming from lab. It is not about environmental degradation. It is coming from lab. अच्छा, lab से आ रहे हैं, बताओ कैसे? अच्छा, वो भी explain नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. That is a different thing, but they know it is coming from lab. You will see how 3 different people explain the 3 different explanations they are giving to the same phenomena. Okay, इनडायरेक्ट एक्सपेरिमेंट्स मीन सर, अरे इनडायरेक्ट ही हुआ प्रतिभा, डायरेक्ट नहीं हुआ. इन द सेंस, सी, व्हाई इनडायरेक्ट? सिंपल. In the natural world, I had full control over glass of water. I had full control over the amount of lead that I'm going to put into the glass of water. So the variables were in my hand. In the social world, I cannot ask someone to get married first and ask someone else to not get married so that I could compare both of you and then conduct experiment and see whether there is a relation. No, this is not what I'm going to do. I'll simply collect data of already married people and people who are already single and then see a relation. This is why it is indirect. Had it been direct, I would have asked someone specially to please get married. I want to have that experiment, it's very important, my project. Please get married. And the second person, no, 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 तू नहीं, बच जा अभी. लेट मी सी, पहले इसका 2 साल देखने थे, मेरे को क्राइम रेट का चेक करना है मुझे, अभी रुक जाओ तुम. दिस इज नॉट व्हाट आई एम डूइंग. दैट इज व्हाई इनडायरेक्ट एक्सपेरिमेंट है. Pranshu, sir, social fact like crime is considered deviance because of strong collective consciousness. How do social fact play a role in society with organic solidarity where collective consciousness is low? Where collective consciousness is low, where individualism is high, all the social facts are only those things which are going to bind us together. What are the new social facts? Nationalism. In the traditional society, the concept of nationalism was not there. It was only monarchy, state system. Today, we are bound together by the concept of nation. We are bound together by the concept of anything, any merit. Okay. Basically, religion is still there. It binds us. The form of religion has definitely changed. Something that I don't want to talk about because religion is the next unit. Okay. But although we are having high individualism, there are many forces like state, law, nation, professional associations. These are those forces which are integrating us. So these are social facts only. All these are social facts: state, law, nation, professional associations. The code of conduct is over and above an individual, coercive as well, external to him. You cannot violate code of conduct. If you violate, you are going to feel the constraining force of the code of conduct. Harsh Velkar, why Durkheim want to differentiate sociology and social science? हर्ष मजे ले रहे हो क्या मेरे? अरे भाई, why would you want to differentiate yourself from other? Tell me. Why you want to prepare for IAS? Why you want to prepare for IAS because you want to be different from others or not? If wo bechara person is wanting to differentiate sociology from other, what is the problem that you have? Why can't he do this? Unless he would be differentiating sociology from other subjects, why would you take sociology then? Would you be able to take sociology if sociology was not there? You should be thankful to Durkheim. Egan, sir, how is deviance measured? For example, crime is when we go against a law. Egan did not understand your question. Repeat. Shivam Garg, suicide is also social fact? Unless I'm teaching suicide, let us not talk about suicide. Okay, but yes, suicide is a social fact. It is not individual fact. Monica. Pratibha. Got it, sir. Harish. How socially different from social? ये तो हो गया. Nutan. How will you place left and right wing ideology? Nutan, ये कहाँ से आ गया left wing, right wing? See, these are those things which I will definitely explain. Okay. These things are good for YouTube. You write nice captions. Left wing versus right wing. Left wing, left wing. ये YouTube के लिए सब ठीक है. Okay. Right? These are political ideologies. I don't want to talk about it right now. Left simply is concerned. Left is not a very bad ideology. When you call someone leftist, okay, that person is calling you leftist out of disgust, okay, out of anger. You know, Marx himself used to say, I'm not a Marxist. This is the comment that he has made in his statements. I'm not a Marxist. When you call someone leftist, basically that person is actually working for the welfare of the weaker sections. What is wrong? I do not find anything wrong. The means that they must have employed to do that may be wrong. But their cause is not wrong. If left was really wrong, na, left was not there today. We would only have had one that is right. And remember, God will lose its relevance if you do not have evil. Good will lose its relevance if you do not have bad. You know good only when you know what is bad. You know what is right only when you know what is wrong. And if there is no right and wrong, if there is no criminality, there would be no social change. Remember this. If left is today regarded as deviant, we should be ready for the social change. Because they are the ones who are going to talk about laborers, migrants, Dalits, and women, or even any weaker section so called. Okay. चलो फिर. Okay. See you Sunday.